Here we are, rock and roll as we go on the toes for the marching dance art. Yours truly. Oh, my time to cross. Gonna put the gloves because it's COLD. Still turn my head left and right before I cross the street. You never know, even though have that priority to pass. Brakes malfunction. Sometimes citizen driver might be distracted, presses the accelerator instead of the brake, so I got to add that extra prudence since I am in the public. And got a glove up. Thank you to my anonymous friend who gifted me these really good gloves for this temperature. They're perfecto, perfect. Gotta commence, begin, start with gratitude. Grateful, thankful that my rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, and gotta salute, some salutations to those doing those, clearing the snow from after the storm. Think you did a pretty good job, you know. I can go to the march on the mountain, go to the mountain, my second home, to see my mistress. Played that black and white on rainbow, androgynous, pansexual, artist, athlete, philosopher, rainbow dragon for the farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, going to see the mistress. In my second home, Mount Royal. Atop the forest on the mountain, at the Belvedere conjuring act, setting new tables, pledge your legions to our family. Gonna celebrate 5 years soon, February, when I died of COVID, February 2020, March. Being reborn, died right in my underground room, Austin Temple Dragon's Lair. Nothing that I want to go back to. Turn your heads left and right. If I am to let's make North America great. But for today and for tomorrow, not looking in the past, Dragon versus Trump. Special edition Dragon versus Trump. I've been challenging Donald Trump since ever. The threat of imposing tariffs, and he did impose tariffs with the administration, first Trump administration, 2018, in March. Spring, March. Of course, since then I have been and will continue to challenge Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border, as yours truly is going on the mountain, now. Gonna cross that street, gonna cross that XYZ, and we're gonna go drilling all the way. Gotta get out of the way of my fellow citizens. I gotta salute those beautiful red lights. Wow. Gotta look at those beautiful red lights. Bust a dance move. Dancing is my favorite sport and fitness activity. I gotta go. I'm on the mountain now, on the peak. Westmount, you know. That's where we are, Westmount. On the mountain, Westmount, one of the 3 peaks of Mount Royal proper, and LOVE to the firefighters of North America, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, those who change some daycare diapers, diapers in the daycare, you know, gotta salute. LOVE the construction workers, those in the warehouses, and of course those grocery store clerks. As you know, we gotta make some improvement for the workers. You're truly independent, financially stressed. I'm just financially stressed at the moment, but open for business 24/7. Dependent aspie, artist, athlete, philosopher, independent, geopolitical, theoretical, honest, and true. If you don't know now, you will know. I predicted the international conflagration, aka World War III, similar to what it has been happening in the past more than 44 months across the world. I got proof of work in 2019, October, November. Gotta cross the street safely, prudently. Turn my head left and right, turn my head left and right, turn my head left and right. That's what it is for the go, that's what it is for the do, and that's what it is for the XYZ, and that's what we gotta keep in mind, that my work is an independent geopolitical, theoretical, honest, and theorist, and that geopolitics is my kingdom, my realm, and it's 24/7 to study the analysis of geopolitical events thereof, you know. Sometimes, again, today, every day almost, kind of every day for years and years and years, in morning, afternoon. Sometimes I just drink a cup of coffee, and I'm so involved in analyzing geopolitical events of the past, concording them with geopolitical events of the past and of the future, and of course present day events, whatever's transpiring, you know, whatever's transpiring now. So now we gotta get that, of course, Trump tariffs, which are 25%. Anyway, so that's what we're gonna go do. And I'm gonna wait here. And we're gonna get it. Oh yeah. Gotta turn my head left and right, and you see the west mount. It's going down, it's going down, it's going down, it's going down. It's going down slope, you know. That's what it is, going down slope, you know. As we're on the mountain, west mount proper. And of course, we gotta go get it. Gonna see the mistress on the mountain. I'm a piece of dust. I want to build this piece of dust. Who's an ass? We got that Asperger's HFA, so I'm a bit of a weirdo. But I will, with all my weirdness, all the sufferings, the scars, the trauma that I lived, I will to build the forgotten goddess temple, forgotten goddess temple, forgotten goddess GODDSS temple on the Canadian-US border, on the Canadian-US border, on the Canadian-US border. And of course to build a North American integrated, or the North American People's Imperial Coliseum on the Canadian-US border, on the Canadian-US border, my will, calling all willingly loving, pledge your allegiance, legions on this freestyle rock and roll, going to the mountain. I'm grateful, thankful I got this new work tool, smartphone to do the video, put it on YouTube, get a little bit more views, but it's more for the, less for the views, but it's less for the purpose. And you know, I created my surviving COVID in 2020, surviving being surprise attacked a few times in the past years, and live with a retrograde amnesia, memory loss, but mostly the past 7-8 years, and especially the past 7 years, and especially the 5 years, and especially today, as I live at carpe diem and every day since I died of COVID, live to the fullest, open for business 24/7, and gonna go to the mountain, my second home where I love to go. And I've been on the fitness journey since 2017 when exactly I crossed Canada, and that event really changed my whole life, and I established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians, our family, Quebecers, Canadians, I consider our family, and even my brothers and sisters in the USA, because I'm a mystic as well, parallel. You know, I also believe in reincarnations, and I was born 3 times in the USA post 7076. So I'm a Quebecer, Canadian, North American, Canadian, Quebecer, and I was born in past life, previous incarnations, and I served 2 times. I was born as a man, served in the same US Army, 156 years apart. Once I was born a woman, you get that 50-50 now. Rainbow Dragon, let's go, rock and roll, North Americans unite. Build on the Canadian-US border, the North American Imperial People's Coliseum, 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 and the Forgotten Goddess, GODDSS, double S at the end, Goddess. When you gotta say God bless, I gotta say Goddess kiss. Yeah, I say God bless, I gotta say Goddess kiss. You say God bless, I gotta say Goddess kiss, and kisses I got by the trees. Created from the Forgotten Goddess, who has a place, has many places, all the world under the sun and the stars, 93 Barry Mill, Papa Crowley up in New Jersey, code. The third of me up in Mount Royal, third of me up in the city of the pyramids. And that's what it is with that, and that's what it is for the go, that's what it is as I go now, you know, all the way to the mountain, to my second home, and gotta be meditating on everything that, of course, as the pillars of civilization, as civilization is a privilege. I gotta give some LOVE to the firefighters and the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the truckers, the grocery store clerks, and all involved in the production, distribution of food. That's what it is, you know, so that's what it is now, and that's how we gotta get doing. That's how we gotta get doing with that, and that's how we gotta get rock and rolling. That's how we gotta get rock and rolling, you know? And rock and roll is one of my 3 special interests. As, you know, I live with Asperger's, aka HFA, high functioning autism. I got a trinity of special interests, also known as obsessive interest, although I do not use the word obsessive too much, because obsessive will be from somebody's perspective who doesn't live with the neurodivergence. It will be a neurotypical word which has a more negative connotation, and yes, indeed, aspects in certain things, dimensions, interactions of society, we can be weirdos. We lack certain social dimensions of understanding of social cues and norms, but we have our strengths, and my holy trinity of this ASPE is geopolitics 24/7. Even today I spent like 5 hours, just had 2 cups of coffee, and then I realized I was so immersed in analyzing different news outlets from across the world, local, Canada, Quebec, USA mostly, because I'm a North American Canadian Quebecer and now concerned about those tariffs and everything around the world. Of course, check some other news outlets from all over the world a little bit because I speak Spanish, so I did that just to counterpose and doing more in-depth analysis because I do that 24/7. So I just realized I spent 5 hours super intense, super focused, super concentrated, and that's when you're an ASPE, depending on what your special interest is. See how it goes down? It goes down, down, down now. It goes down. Now I'm on the mountain, but I'm on the peak mountain because the mountain system Mount Royal has 3 peaks. This is Westmount. You got Westmount, Outremont, Mount Royal. You got Mount Royal, Outremont, Westmount, Westmount, Mount Royal, Outremont, and now I'm in Westmount, heading east, 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 east. And of course, when I come back west. And the mountain, of course, is right between the east and the west, but slightly south. Between the north and the south is south. It's not exactly in the middle, in the center between the north and the south, but it is slightly south. And between the east and the west is slightly in the middle. It's slightly in the middle. It's slightly in the middle. So that's what it is now, and that's what I gotta go doing. You know, working out, training, exercising. I've been on a fitness journey ever. Thank you, merci. I've been on a fitness journey. I gotta give a little bit of salutation to my fellow citizen because I think we knew each other from the past, and I think maybe we spoke a few words, and I mentioned maybe allergies because I'm allergic to certain types of dogs that have the tickling fur. Not really severe allergies, I really don't know, but when they get close I start sneezing, as you can see one of my videos on the mountain when a dog comes close, except for poodles, but other dogs just make me sneeze, and the thickness, the length of the fur just cause kind of like allergic reactions in me, you know. So that's what it is with that. So that's what we gotta keep doing. And see, now I'm still going up. So the mountain still goes up, then slightly down, then up again. So you see those lights there? They're really far away, and that's down. You're gonna see the slope down as it comes down. And I guess it's gonna be time for me to switch from my face to the interface of the Hawk Island, Montreal City, big metropolis. Yours truly is going to be 7 years soon, 7 years. And since I have been challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border ever since 2018, March 2018, for the first time when Trump and his administration imposed tariffs of 10% on Canadian aluminum and steel. And now, supposedly the deadline is February 1st. And it's a threat of big tariffs, big, very worrisome, of 25%. So my DRT theory for North America, my protocols initiatives for getting rid of the border, uniting in a parallel European Union. I don't know about that 51 state. And you need to sign some executive orders for the rebuilding of the North American inner urban cities, and to rebuild the North American ghettos, as well. Mass investment in that is needed. In healthcare, mass investment. It takes the public and the private partnership. Private partnership, being a democratic Republican. My initiatives, protocols for the North American Union, similar to the EU. We really don't need the border. Integrate for security, service, and defense. Solely Dragon Army initiative. Let it be understood is solely for security, service, and defense. Solely only for security, service, and defense. Solely and only for security, service, and defense. And here we are. Gonna play that defense coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Like that hardball ball, aka blackout ball. Grateful, thankful for my rent paid, electricity bills paid. Got food and coffee. And bought some orange juice. I said I'm gonna buy some American and drink it, do an event. Meditative, geopolitical rock and roll event as I do them. But, so the tariffs are not in yet. So I decided to spend some money. It was reduced 44.9%. Please, NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB. Reduced the cost of the tickets by 44.9%. Estimated cost for the parallel crisis of living. See, sometimes we're over there in the videos that I show that I march, and we're miles and kilometers away. See how it goes down? So Now, you see, that's low, steep. And now I'm atop of the mountain, you know. So now being atop of the mountain, on West Mountain Peak, now I'm going all the way to the east. And of course, going to the east on the West Mountain, gotta go doing with that. So that's what it is, you know. That's what it is with that. So that's where you gotta get going, and I gotta give a salutation to the hydro workers of Hydro-Quebec. Hydro-Quebec workers here. Let's build more dams, you know, that's why we got electricity. And our electricity goes with 5, 6 states, all the way 1/20th, 1/5 of Manhattan Island in New York gets electricity from Hydro-Quebec. So when you're in one of those 5 or 6 states, or on the island, President Trump, you also get electricity right here from Quebec as we integrate. And I don't know about the invitation to become 51st states, I guess. It's something we can negotiate, something we can work out. At the end of the day, my brothers and sisters, the king is absent. I believe my theory is best, and we have to have a public-private partnership. We're going to join as brothers and sisters, as equals. We can only strengthen each other. Here, the Canadian, true north, strong and free Quebec Canadian, we made the great linguistic compromise of the French language. We have to continue to do it. We have common social, cultural, historical, and I guess common manifest destiny. Quebecers, Canadians, North Americans. As North Americans, we are North Americans, but here from us in the true north, strong and free, true north, strong and free, it's not enough just freedom and strength. You gotta got some LOVE, and you gotta got some LOV and some solutions. We might not agree with some things, but we're not enemies. And of course, I am gotta say that I am quite content in a way and relief when Donald Trump was asked if he's gonna use military force without hesitation. He said no. And I'm glad that you didn't hesitate. Glad that you didn't hesitate. That I'm glad, you know, I didn't hesitate to say no when it was asked. He's gonna use forces. He's gonna use force. If you say he's gonna use force, because I asked the question, he used force to take Canada. I said no right away without hesitation. And you know, I said yes to economic force. I guess, you know, I never liked bullies. And, you know, I don't like violence. You know, I don't like violence. But if the answer would have been yes to the question, if it's gonna use force to take Canada, now we're prepared to get guerrilla. We're ready to implement Operation Dracula, Canadian Dracula. Operation Canadian Dracula. We gotta play defense, we gotta got security questions in common. You know, definitely the RCMP and other police forces can integrate with the US, and my citizen integration theory for security service and defense, Dragon Army Initiative, pledge your allegiance. Friends with benefits only. Pledge your allegiance. Pledge your allegiance, friends with benefits only. Could become the Canadian Republican Guard, because it's time for the Republic. The king is absent, my brothers and sisters. It's time for the DRT, the debt refusion theory. We gotta do better by the workers. We gotta give people a second chance. I was saying as an alternative, because I'm always proposing when I'm discussing it, more less than criticism. I always propose alternative courses of action, and being an Asperger, dealing with Asperger's, living with it is not a mental illness. It's not an illness. It is just a neurodivergence. Makes me look at certain details, certain questions, but in case of instead of perhaps deporting or whatever, maybe let's do a census, North American census, evaluate linguistic capabilities, and see who's been here since 2017. And see who's been here since 2017. And see who's been here since 2017 since 2017 who's been here since 2017 who's been here since 2017. That is the year when I Before that, I was depressed, suicidal, and cross Canada, coast to coast in August and September. That event really changed my whole life. Before that, I was depressed, suicidal, and I crossed Canada, coast to coast. See, the mountain is still going up. There's even higher up. So here we're high up already in altitude, but there it still goes up. But it still goes down. That's why I'm saying the mountain can be seen afar off. From far off, the mountain can be seen afar off on the island. So back to what I was saying, in 2017, I crossed Canada coast to coast. I had an awakening, a realization. I remember being in Banff. I said, wow, so many things to see, to do across North America. So many things to see, to do across North America that I, of course, gotta say, I said, wow, so many things to see, to do across North America that I started, of course. My fitness journey began, and I've written a document. You know, of course, the document was about the initiative, Public-Private Partnership Initiative, North American Citizen Integrated Public-Private Partnership Initiative, in order to finance, mass finance, citizens to work out, train, exercise, mass finance, citizens to work out, train, exercise, mass finance, citizens to work out, train, and exercise for wellness, or something like the Great North American Integrated Public-Private Partnership Initiative for the mass financing of citizens' tourism for wellness, to see what it is we're fighting for, to defend, you know. I always say to my brothers of Ministry of National Defense, you know, I'm gonna say, I guess, Hegseth is now Canada Bill Blair. And brothers, we gotta put a new protocol for the defenses. See, it's going down, and there's going up still. A lot of, so now I'm kind of in the middle, but see how down it goes. So now I'm on the mountain, but it's, of course, there's houses built here in Westmont. So I say to the Hegseth and Minister of National Defense, security, you know, you gotta put a new protocol for putting on a uniform, you know, for defense, whatever it is, for defense. So before you put on your uniform, you gotta put a new protocol to go chase some diapers, you know, because I don't want nothing to do with mercs. I don't want nothing to do with mercs. I don't want nothing to do with mercs, mercenaries. I don't want no business to do with mercs. Let them not cross the Atlantic nor the Pacific. Stay over there. And I don't want to do nothing to do with mercenaries. Nothing to do with mercs, you know, with mercs. So there will be a new protocol. Support the dream. My dream is fundamentally for the North American Collective, or as a philosopher, what I call the Great North American Civilizational Complex. What I call the Great North American Civilizational Complex. The Great North American Civilizational Complex of North America, as we have a common manifest destiny. We have a common manifest destiny. And that's what it is with that. And that's how we're gonna get going, you know. So it's something which we gotta go do now, you know, because now the threat of 25% tariffs, which is exactly a quarter, that'll be 25 cents for every dollar. So you gotta think about that. That's something which, of course, is gotta be meditated on. Something which we gotta do. And for security service and defense, my initiatives are, you know, I just did a lot of snow. I did twice today, in the morning and before I left. See how it goes up? So there it still goes up, and you can see the high mountain there, where we are on the mountain. And see there, see how it goes down, kind of pulls you down. And you still got those lights, which are far away. So that's why sometimes you see my videos when I'm pointing here. You see that I'm actually quite far away, kilometers and miles, either south, most of the time southwest, but sometimes southeast, depending on, like last time I was over there somewhere, but miles and kilometers. So it's miles and kilometers far from my place, my humble dragon's lair, my own room of some temple, humble dragon's lair, rainbow dragon, you know. Pledge your allegiance, friends will benefit. It's only my dream. The dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership and to start the implementation of my Trinity theories, the CIT, Citizen Integration Theory, the DRT, Debt Fusion Theory, and the DFT, Democratic Fusion Theory, that Trinity theories for the 21st century new North American order. But Canada, true north, strong and free, we're north. My brothers and sisters in the USA, you're south. We're north of you, you're south of us. Now the camera's pointing south, as you see it's going down slope. Down slope, see how slope it is? So that's why we're in a high mountain here. And now it's still going up. So you can still go up. We're gonna go up on the other peak. Because the mountain system, Mount Royal, has 3 peaks. Westmount, which has a lot of houses. Outremer, and Mount Royal proper, it doesn't have houses. But at the top it has like a public house. The Belvedere Conjuring Act, which is kind of the headquarters of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, because it's public, right? It's public. We have private-public partnership because I'm still a private individual. I still have to retain my liberty and security, and this is my work, which I'm doing now, but still has to be in concordium, in harmony with somebody else's liberty or security. And freedom, liberty are new under the sun, eh? King Solomon, freedom and liberty are new under the sun. My brothers and sisters blacks are 13.4% of the North American population, my neighbors included. You know, we have to still have some fight against racism. And how, you know, sometimes we have secret lusts, secret fears, you know, and offer everybody else kisses, hugs, and money I don't have to finance, but I wouldn't hesitate to not give and be charitable, you know, in such a way that I could to anybody, because you're a family, Quebecers, Canadians, North Americans, and we made it so far. Most deserve second, third chances, and sometimes, you know, me being neurodivergent, part of a tiny minority, there's only 0.44, less than half of a percentile, less than 1% of citizens who are Aspies, who would Asperger's, HFA, high functioning autistics, as there are, myself also being part of the LGBTQ community, androgynous, pansexual, and sometimes, you know, we gotta meet in the center, and some solutions, such as things as aggression, violence. I don't like violence. Aggression has to be channeled. I can be intense when I discuss certain things, when I focus in geopolitics, or when I engage in physical sports activity, because it's parallel to geopolitics. It's my special interest. And of course, rock and roll. And I play black, white, and rainbow. My brothers and sisters pledge you allegiance to our family. And all ALL who come to join us. All who come to join us. Canada and United States, it's time for the border to go. We need to integrate more fully. But we have to also temper our individual and the collective. Because there's certain questions, you know. Certain rights and privileges, duties and obligations, rights and privileges, second chances. To my brothers and sisters, I said who lost their liberty, you know, we maybe, as I'm calling for the construction and building of the 44 tunnels across North America, 44 tunnels, 44 the number before 45 after 43, is 44 tunnels in case of a thermonuclear war, and for the continuity of the North American civilizational complex, the continuity of the North American civilizational complex, because we constitute a new and emergent civilizational complex with our distinct historical advancement and forming from different nations and peoples who came to the new world, and now we take it in the 21st century. In the 21st century. As much as I don't agree with Trump, I have alternative propositions. I am for merging Canada and the United States. Like I said, I don't know about that 51st state, because it will be more states or several states. We have the special linguistic compromise, which we made, myself included as a Quebecer. I work for the French language in French and English and rock and roll. double trouble like Celine Dion, but it's also a way to do it, because we want dialogue and moving forward as we renew emergent civilizational complex, a new emergent civilizational complex, a new and emergent civilizational complex. May I do it by rock and roll and geopolitics, and we made the great linguistic compromise. And message memo to Trump, we got 10 million Quebecers who were going to defend the language and to have the maintenance of the French language here, the bilingual. Sometimes there's tensions, but there's also to make an effort. When we integrate fully our, forces and for security service and defense, we're gonna have to do a little bit of French. Celine Dion song. With a translation, or so Celine Dion that's the well known, but there's of course more others, and I could write some rock and roll French and English, not a problem. But we need to start building those 44 tunnels, because it's possible for a thermonuclear war. As I'm speaking now, when I go back, you might see that the People's Republic of China invaded Taiwan, which is the Republic of China. And going back to my prediction, back of course in 2019, when I had concluded that humanity is going to be set again towards an international conflagration, humanity is going to be set again towards an international conflagration. And so back then, produced a workout training program system to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario. Back then, that's what I predicted. To summarize my prediction and the motive behind, because I am an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, it is one of my main obsessive interests. Also know that I don't use obsessive that much, utilize mostly special focused interest, because that's what people with Asperger's or neurodivergent like myself, we have those interests where we can be super intense, super focused, super concentrated when we are involved. Such as now, I guess, when I'm marching, busting some dance moves. Dancing is my favorite sport. Dancing is my favorite fitness activity. And I always create choreography. And rock and roll, that's my trinity. So I am an artist, athlete, philosopher, an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who has predicted in a general manner in 2019 October what has been happening. Basically, an international conflagration, growing international tensions, fragmentation of the existing world order, and a World War III possibility. Basically, what was a World War III? So basically, that's kind of what I've been in that World War III mode since November 2019. Since November 2019. And it's not all about winning, I lost so many times. I got scars on my body. I discuss it even on my clit androgynous genitalia. I found some solutions, but still itches. I scratch sometimes. I get irregular itches, but sometimes thanks goddess functions rocket, and scars on other parts of the body, and survived, and attribute my surviving to the goddess. I will to build the forgotten goddess temple on the Canadian-U.S. border, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum on the Canadian-U.S. border, the Forgotten Goddess Temple, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, the House of the Dragon, Pyramid, Scarlet and Crimson, and of course red. And that's all we need to do, and we need to do, of course, on that XYZ, and that's all we need to do, so that's all we need to build. The Forgotten Goddess Temple, in order, of course, to be on the go. So that's how we gotta go doing, so the dream is the dancing goddess and the dancing kingdom, the dragon army, and the DGA dragon army to be complementary covenant to the dancing goddess army. for security service and defense only, and for the environment and pleasure, the public-private partnership institutions, then I'm calling for the implementation thereof. And of course, I gotta discuss the DRT, the debt refusion theory, the debt refusion theory, the debt refusion theory, the debt refusion theory. That's what I gotta keep doing with that. The DRT, the universal exchange unit to be created by my theory called DRT, debt refusion theory, the DRT, debt refusion theory, DRT, debt refusion theory, for the creation of the UE. So that's what we gotta get doing with that, and that's what we gotta get doing on the go. That's what we gotta get doing with that. So that's what we gotta get doing now as I go up the mountain, you know. So that's what we gotta get. Oh, feels good. Feels good. Yeah. Whew. Cannot stress the importance of regular physical exercise, and we need to mass finance regular physical exercise. 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 Yeah, well, maybe to get a house for myself, or split 50-50, my anonymous friend, but I will to build the pyramid. House of the Dragon, Scarlet Crimson. Scarlet and Crimson are, of course, shades of red. House of the Dragon. And of course, the fourth dimension, the Rainbow People's Palace. For my fellow LGBT community, LOVE. Lots of feet washes. Lots of loving, lots of rock and roll, lots of kisses. For the construction workers. Hey, it's the construction workers who build it on cranes on steel toes with metal, steel, and meters and measurements, and brain and muscle. So always send some salutations, LOVE, to the welders, the construction workers, the electricians, the plumbers, the butchers, the bakers, the cooks. LOVE to those flipping some cheeseburgers, hamburgers. It's not all about Wall Street. It's not all about Wall Street. It's not about Wall Street. Gotta give some chat. I wish I would have had 44 billion. If I would have had 44 billion when Trump got elected on the 6th, I would have taken 10%. Would have went incognito, hoodie on dirty, and would have distributed 10,000. Actually more. 50,000 to men, women, black, white, trans, whatever, vets, homeless, those in need. And I would have said, this is your second chance. This is my redemption. This is your second chance, and this is my redemption. This is your second chance, and this is my redemption. And that's what I would have done. A good charity, 10% of 44 billion. That would have been, of course, 4.4 billion. It would have been 4,004 million. And just thinking now that it would have been some alternative solution to just give amnesty, you know, but amnesty to those law-abiding, non-documented citizens. And let's do that great North American census, and let them help with building the 44 tunnels and mass financing thereof, the construction and the building of those 44 tunnels, construction and the building of those 44 tunnels across North America, Quebec, Canada, inspired by the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, the NORAD Cheyenne Mountain Complex of NORAD, and inspired not only by the Cheyenne Complex of NORAD, but also inspired by the Montreal Underground Village, That's what we gotta do, and gotta say my gratitude, saluting the bus drivers, public bus drivers of North America, firefighters, love, rock and roll. Somebody make them some good loving. Please, Wall Street, millionaires of North America, finance them. Massage therapy session, firefighters, and the public, those who pick up the garbage every week. Got 3 services: garbage collection, recycling every week, one of each, and compost. I worked on the compost actually in 2018 a few months on a kind of contract lived, and I was the one kind of who helped bring it in the program in, so gotta take a little bit of pride in that, because it's been functioning and we can always do better, but it's good for the environment. Recycling and compost, and please NFL National Football League, NHL National Hockey League, NBA National Basketball Association, MLB, please reduce the cost of the tickets and give some tickets to the public workers who pick up the garbage, public sanitation, who pick up the garbage, who pick up the compost, who pick up the recycling. We gotta think of all the workers in my dream, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom. It's fundamentally a public-private partnership. Now as I ascend the mountain, I'm gonna discuss my DRT theory, because it's super important. It's super important. The DRT theory stands for D, debt, R, refusion, T, and theory. The debt refusion theory for the creation of the universal exchange, who wills to finance that I go up and down these stairs 300 times. 300 times, 300 times. We'll rock and roll for the North American Union, for the dream. $300, 300 times, rock and roll. I go up and down for the Dragon versus Trump. Fight me on the Canadian-US border. When Donald Trump first imposed tariffs, I have been challenging him to fight me in a boxing match on the Canadian-US border. Ever since, of course, he imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel. Ever since he imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel. Ever since he imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel. Canadian aluminum and steel of 10%. I was asking to build a rink made of Canadian United States joint Canadian United States joint aluminum and steel back then in 2018. So I have been him, and will continue to challenge Donald Trump. Be careful if you come here. I feel good. This is my second home, but it's not just mine. It's mine, yours, and it's like my mistress who cuckolds me a lot. Say rainbow dragon, but blesses me, also bless me. 3 times a day, sometimes more, I get my clit, dick, clit, androgynous scar. Grows rocket. Grows rocket. Anyways, the DRT, debt refusion theory, I'm going to discuss it now. Super important. So again, give some gratitude, grateful, thankful. My rent's paid, my electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee. Rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee, and here I am, beautiful lights. All the lights here come from clean zero pollution, zero emission, and electricity, of course, which come from the Hydro-Quebec, and we need to build more Hydro-Quebec dams, as we go. As I go all the way to the top, always gotta be on that meditation. Feels good. Always feel so good when I come here, We gotta be in such a space, and there's such a good air, The air is so fresh. It just feels good, It feels good. It's like no pollution here, It's like less, although it's cold, but it's like so good. And I love coming here, and all who came here, sometimes you just gotta make an effort, and come and see, That's what it is. That's why you gotta get that step by step, and just be careful, don't venture too much into the forest, don't venture too much into the forest, don't venture too much into the forest, so don't venture too much into the forest, that's what it is, so that's what it is, and that's what it is, so we gotta get that DRT, debt refusion theory, DRT, debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange unit. That's what we gotta do here, so I'm gonna discuss it, because now my converse a little bit with a goddess mistress, and I love it when she calls me cuckold. I wouldn't mind marrying. I want to marry a whore anyways. Being androgynous, pansexual, you know. My sexuality is weird. No need to spy on me. Secret services are Xi Jinping. My mistress gonna cuck your ass also. Get that leash. Get that leash. Makes me think of I don't know if anybody's familiar with Robert A. Heinlein. Robert A. Heinlein. The moon is the harsh mistress. It's not my favorite, but I read about, I think during COVID I read it. My gosh, I can't believe in February, March, it's gonna be 5 years since I survived COVID. 5 years. Mid-February till mid-March. Mid-February till mid-March. Mid-February till mid-March. Mid-February till mid-March. Mid-February. Mid-February till mid-March. That's 5 years it's gonna be. Wow. Pretty hardcore. Yeah. Gonna be 5 years. So that's what we gotta get doing now. So as I go inside the forest, always gotta be meditating. I gotta stay as much as I can on the right side, because gotta be respectful of those others. Just like driving, if there's of course skiing or whatever have you, you know, it's something which I gotta be meditating on. And I always love coming here, you know. That's what we gotta get doing, man. It's super nice here. It's just something what I love, the environment, and something that I really love here. But just gotta watch out for the branches, you know. Sometimes the branches gonna get in with that. So that's what it is, you know. And that's what we gotta get doing. That's where we gotta go, you know. Gotta stay on the right side. That's what we gotta get. That's what I gotta get. Anyways, Heinlein is a special one. You know, so that's what it is for the and now it's time for the DRT. Actually gonna just continue discussing a bit Robert A. Heinlein. Heinlein is a science fiction writer. Might well be familiar with Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers was made into a movie. So they made into a movie, but he wrote a lot of he has some some of them might call controversial viewpoints in terms of social philosophy, social politics, social political philosophies. Because Robert Heinlein, of course, we gotta get that Robert Heinlein. He also believed, of course, he also believed in democracy, which democracy. That's what he believed in. So that's a bit controversial, but the sci-fi is definitely good. I don't know, sometimes we gotta dissociate certain things from the individual and the artistic expression, him being a literary genius, sci-fi literary genius, and him having this controversial social political philosophy that he believed in democracy. He did not really believe in democracy, nor a Republican form of government, really. But democracy has some Republican is democratic. I'm not going to go into for hours and hours and discuss and go back to the ancient Roman Empire system and before the Roman Empire, the Roman Republic, and the democracy of Greece, which had their differences a little bit, you know. So, and of course, so democracy was Sparta. So Sparta was kind of a democracy. Sparta was kind of a democracy. Sparta was kind of a democracy. You know, that's what it was. So, anyways, I love coming here on the mountain. I love coming here on the mountain. It always brings me some good joy, and that's what we gotta get doing, you know. So that's what we gotta get doing, you know. So, jag har a wake up call, I guess. Tricky. So we gotta get on that go, you know. We gotta get on that XYZ, and that's what we gotta get doing, you know. So that's what we gotta get doing for that. So we gotta get on the meditation, you know. Being in a meditative space, of course, something which we gotta value. Action also, you know. We could discuss for years and years and years the necessity to work out, the necessity to exercise, you know, all the good jazz. But if I don't do it, doing is also necessary, right? So here, I'm in a bit of a predicament. So I think my strategy would be to go up slightly on my knees, bent, and then for safety, just go to the extreme, the other side. Like this is safer for the for those who are skiers here. Because I'm not in, you can come ski here, I'm not in the skiing platform. I'm on the sidelines. Because I want my fellow brothers and sisters to enjoy their skiing safely and their liberty, my security, their liberty, my liberty and my security in total harmony, on balance with theirs. Here, my liberty, my security, and I'm doing the work, because I'm a YouTuber, geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, philosopher, artist, athlete, an ASPE, neurodivergent, part of a tiny minority, and doesn't matter, I guess. I am part of the LGBTQ community, you know. I've been in the open for more than 7 years now, you know. But what's more important now, so I'm going to discuss the DRT theory. So now just focus, forget that, you know, I believe in reincarnations, forget that. I'm an ASPE weirdo, forget that. XYZ, I have a weird sexuality, forget all that. And scars and trauma and financial stress. Focus on the DRT theory. DRT, debt refusion theory. The DRT. D, debt, R, refusion theory. My theory, paradoxically, is the only solution. The only solution of where we are now, at this point in time, point in juncture. Why do I make that statement? Due to the fact, of course, that we now pay on the public debt of Canada. We now pay 46.5 billion in interest in 2024. I'm going to repeat that again. You can check with the Bank of Canada, Diff Mackler, and check and work it out and verify for yourself. So in 2024, we paid 46.5 billion. 46.5 billion. 46.5 billion. That's the amount we paid. That is the amount we paid. That is the amount we paid on the public debt. That is the amount we paid on the public debt. 46.5 billion. That is 46,000 million. 46,000 million. That is what it is. So that is the amount of debt we paid on the public-private debt. On the public-private debt. That is the amount we paid on the public-private debt. That is a staggering amount. That is a staggering amount. 46.5 billion. That is a crazy amount. Can you imagine that? Anyways, keep that into consideration. So that is why I say to make the statement that we have 46.5 billion. That is a huge number. Huge number. Anyways, so that is 46,000 million that we paid only in interest on the public debt. Public debt. That is the amount of interest that we paid on the public debt. 46.5 billion. In 2020, 2021, we paid 20.3 billion. Imagine in 3 years the amount of interest we paid. The amount of interest we paid. The amount of interest we paid on the public debt. The amount of interest we paid on the public debt. On the public debt we paid 46.5 billion. That's 20.3 was the amount in 2020, 2021, 2020, 2021, 2020, 2021. That was the amount in 2020, 2021. That was the amount we paid on the public debt. That was the amount we paid on the public debt. 20.3 billion is 20,000 million. A billion has 9 zeros mathematically. So imagine that paying the interest, only debt servicing is the interest we paid. And we paid on the public debt has doubled in 3 years. Imagine in a private manner, as a private citizen, consumer, my interest payments, or yours or somebody else, would have doubled from 2020, 2021 to 2023, 2024 in 3 years. Let's say from 156 to 333. Let's say from 156 to 333, which is more than double, from $156 to $333. Well, how many salaries have doubled? So calculate mathematically. Obviously, it's not sustainable. Because if the salary only increases by 5, 10, or 15%, while the interest paid on the debt, I don't have credit cards myself, I have a credit line. But if the interests double and the salaries do not, obviously you have to reduce the budget, your budget. This I'm making parallel as an individual citizen. It's exactly the same with the public debt of Canada. It's exactly the same. The same principles apply. Same principles when it comes to the interest. Obviously, we're going to have to cut and reduce. I just saw 2 days ago, Monday, I believe, it was on the news that in a few years, a few thousand immigration jobs will be cut in Canada. A few thousand. That's public workers, right? Is it in relation to this? I'm assuming. Is it possible that Trump imposes tariffs on Saturday, on the 1st of February, and the week following, even Monday, you see a Black Swan event, the public financial collapse of Canada. Monday, the 3rd of February, Black Swan event. Black Swan event day. Black Swan event day. Black Swan event day. Black Swan event day. A Black Swan event. A Black Swan event. Meaning a worse financial crisis, catastrophe, collapse. Because it's not sustainable, obviously. Since the interest payments, debt servicing, aka the interest payments, more than doubled. 20.3 was in 2021. 20.3 times 2, it's 40.6. Last year, 2024, we had to pay 46.5. So more than double just the interest payments. Yes, due to COVID. I had COVID. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease, COVID for me. That's when I survived. That's when I survived. That's when I survived. That's when I survived, you know. That's when I survived, you know. That's when I survived COVID, you know. That's when I survived COVID, you know. Having survived COVID, I live carpe diem every day, and paradoxically, my solution, the DRT, debt refusion theory, is the only solution, or something very similar to my DRT theory, the debt refusion theory, D-debt, R refusion theory. It's not sustainable. Check the numbers for yourself with the governor of the Bank of Canada, Tiff Mackler. Tiff Mackler reduced the rates. Good. That means slightly I pay about 11%. So slightly is going to be reduced. But 2 years ago during COVID, when it was raised, at one point I paid 13.3, like 13.3. So my brothers and sisters, the DRT, debt refusion theory, or something very similar to it, or very something similar to it, is the only solution. Something similar to it. So I'm going to now discuss it, the DRT, debt refusion theory. D, debt, R, refusion, T, theory. The debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange unit, the universal exchange unit, the DRT, debt refusion theory, D, debt, R, refusion, T theory. The debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, of the universal exchange. There's no other way. Again, imagine if, and obviously our GDP of Canada did not double. It increased only 2%, 3%. You know, very rarely that GDPs or interior production, gross domestic product, or how we want to calculate the economic growth, it's only a few percentages, very rarely. In 3 years, it takes decades to double. Only a few nation states happened that they discovered some oil in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and they were like 1 million population, 2 million. I'm speaking about the UAE, cases like the United Arab Emirates. Their GDP might have more than doubled in a few years, but because the population is not that big, and only in certain special cases, right? Like special economic cases. Like even China, it took a few decades, right, to double. It took a few decades to double. I gotta be careful here because going on the stairs and they haven't been cleaned, but you know. So I'm laying the first steps on the stairs. That's the best. That DRT is the only solution. Debt refusion theory. As I mount these steps, debt refusion theory. My DRT or something similar is the only solution. Again, due to the fact that we now pay, of course, 46.5 billion, 46.5 billion in interest, 46.5 billion in interest. While in 2021, we paid 20.3 billion. 20.3 double would have been 40.6, 40.6. So now we pay 46.5 billion. Again, that's a billion having 10 zeros. That's 46,000 million. 46,000 million. 46,000 million. 46,000 million. 46,000 million. That's the amount that it is. 46,000 million. 46,000 million. 46,000 million. 46,000 million. So my DRT. The DRT, debt refusion theory, is the only solution. DRT. So the DRT, debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, debt refusion theory. We're gonna take all the part I'm gonna explain now. Keep in mind that my DRT theory contains monetary integration theory, and monetary integration theory is the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. In the European Union, in the 90s, they destroyed their all central banks. They created a new bank, and they now have a common currency, right? The Germans, they destroyed their Deutsche Bank and their national central banks. They destroyed them in the 90s. The Italians also. The Italians also, the French also, they destroyed their national central banks. The Germans, the Italians, the French, many countries in Europe. And they created the ECB, the European Central Bank. So they do not have any longer the national central banks. They have a supranational central bank, the European Central Bank, the ECB. The ECB, European Central Bank, is a supranational, is a central banks for many different nations in the 90s. So my DRT theory includes in it monetary integration theory, which is the financial theory, which was implemented in the European Union. The European Union. Here we are, atop Mount Royal, Belvedere, Conjure and Acte, my second home, headquarters of the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, and headquarters of the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, headquarters of the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, headquarters. And you see that greatest city in the planet, Montreal, hot and 2.5 million people. That's my favorite skyscraper, the pyramid. I'm gonna go get that hydration and continue, of course. Continue, of course, creating an amazing, beautiful city. I always love coming here. We need to put the US flag, get that merged, the maple leaf with the stars, and put the dragon flag also. Dragon flag, 7-pointed star for the dancing goddess army and the dragon army, the North American Union here at the chalet. What you bring on the table? Oh, it's closed. I just wanted to hydrate. HYDRATE. Maybe it's closed, I don't know. Maybe. A little bit of thirsty. Do I got maybe some? Let's see. Maybe I got in my backpack. Hopefully. The moment of truth. Let's see, do I got in my backpack? Let's see. If I got in my backpack, I'll be happy. Oh yeah, hope I packed some water. Because I've been on the march. I started the video late. So before the video, I kind of also marched like about 93 minutes. So I still had a while to go. So here we are. Gonna discuss, get back to the DRT theory, debt fusion theory, meditate on the aforementioned. And my backpack is full. Got about 44 more, maybe 44, maybe more pounds. Because I got some cans donation and some food donation. And I purchased some hava. Oh yes, half a bottle. Got some water. Let's hydrate. 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 Good enough. Gonna sustain me for the march back. So I'm gonna go roundabout on the XYZ, and that's what we're gonna go do it. That's what we're gonna go do it now, and I put it back in. And I'm gonna go back, so that's what it is. And put it back and let's go drill it. It's not that heavy, it's not that light. So I got a backpack now. I always do in my videos. Sometimes heavier, sometimes light. Now I have something that I purchased, hava, like 2 pounds of hava, like a kilo. Got some cans and got those gloves, red gloves, by which I'm challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border ever since 2018, and Happening and will continue to do so. And here we are, my second home. Top the Belvedere, conjure neck, top the Belvedere, conjure neck, and there we go. Put out XYZ, and here we are, beautiful. We need some color, some rainbow, and we need to put the US flag. Well, so join the flags with the Quebec. And we gotta get doing on that. We gotta get doing on the go. We gotta get doing on the now, and it's XYZ to do it. XYZ to go, and we gotta get doing on XYZ, and we gotta get on the doings with that. So it's something which we gotta get doing, so something which we gotta get on the love, and right here when I come, it's kind of less illusions, when you see those flags, we gotta put the US also. Put the US merge, that fleur-de-lis Quebec flag. Gotta put it with the USA. Gotta put it with the flag of the dragon, dragon, rainbow dragon. And the 7-pointed. We gotta get on that 7-pointed. So that's what we gotta get doing. And here we are. On top, of course, the mountain as we see south, how my brothers and sisters in the 50 states doing. North American Unite, support the DRT, North American Democratic Republic, the Dream, the Dancing Goddess, and the Dragon Kingdom, for the North American Collective Unity. Pledge your allegiance, Dragon Army, thou art family. Pledge your allegiance, thou art family. Pledge your allegiance, thou art family. And that's what we gotta get doing. Beautiful lights. Thank you, Hydro-Quebec. Gonna give some LOV. Salutations to the nurses, the doctors, the cooks across North America, the firefighters, train conductors, the bakers, those flipping some burgers, some cheeseburgers, some hamburgers, some of that good stuff, they're be doing on that, and that's what they're gonna get doing with that. So it's something that we gotta be meditating upon, and please don't leave stuff like that. I'm gonna take it with the glove. It's because we got flora, fauna. This has to be recycled. So this has to be recycled. This has to be recycled. Please recycle this. I don't mind red. My favorite color. Recycle. It's a dragon. I don't know. Let's see what it is. Oh, I don't mind your drinking, but please recycle this. From the United States, ignite the night, it says. Ignite the night. Please, just put it in the recycling, or put it with you in the recycling, because we got lots of flora, fauna, we try to preserve. That's my only thing. I don't mind you drinking, having fun, but if you would have falls there, then, it's quite a mess. So I'm just going to recycle it. I'm gonna desert. I did picked it up, I guess. It's so cold that microbes, germs, and bacteria and it's made in the US. Maybe I should try it. I never bought it myself. I'm not a big alcohol drug on, and I guess high and drunk on life mostly, and having survived COVID. I'm drunk and high on life and having survived COVID and on the starlight, on the sun. But I do enjoy wine, red wine. I love red wine. It's just that affordability wise, and I still have cannabis. It's legal. Cannabis is legal in Canada, coast to coast, since 2019. I don't smoke that much. I don't drink, rarely. But anyways, look at the beautiful city, metropolis, and that's why I gotta go around the bout. And now I'm gonna head back, just circumvented around the bout circle. Rock and roll for the firefighters, LOV to the nurses, the butchers, the bakers, the doctors, the grocery store clerks, LOV those slipping some burgers. From Montreal, the island of the Hague, the metropolis, that's you got the. For Montreal, and that's we got the. For Montreal, and that's what's up. We gonna get it for the left, for the right, and for the center. That's the surrounded by an island, and that's the pyramid you see. That's my favorite skyscraper. Let's build together, because that's my favorite skyscraper. Let's build together. North American People's Imperial Coliseum and the Forgotten Goddess Temple and the House of the Dragon here, from the headquarters of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. My second home, Belvedere Conjuranak. My second home, the Belvedere Conjuranak. My second home, the Belvedere Conjuranak. My mistress, mistress, goddess. I love that BDSM switch. Back to the DRT, debt refusion theory. DRT, debt refusion theory is going to be, it includes monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory was exactly the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. So that was implemented in the European Union. So the DRT, debt refusion theory, for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange unit, that's what it needs to be implemented. So I'm going to explain it now as simple as I can. And again, keep in mind that the DRT theory, debt refusion theory, includes monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory. And monetary integration theory is exactly the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union in the 90s. They created the European Central Bank, and they created the ECB, European Central Bank, and the common currency they put into circulation, the euro. So my DRT theory, standing for debt refusion theory, also includes that theory. So we're going to take all the public and the private debt. My 10,000 as a private citizen, your 10,000, my 10,000, your 10,000, our 10,000, all the debt, public and private debt. We're going to, of course, convert it to US dollar. All the debt, public and private debt of Canada, coast to coast, we're going to convert it into US dollar. We're going to convert it into US dollar, We're going to convert it into US dollar. That's what we're going to do, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. We're going to convert it into US dollar, into US dollars. So all the way coast to coast, ocean to ocean, we're going to convert it into US dollars. All of it, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. So my $10,000, your $10,000, whatever you have as debt, my debt, your debt, our debt, all the debt, the public and the private debt, all the debt, public and private debt, converted into US dollars. So my debt, your debt, my $10,000, your $10,000, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. All that money, Canadian public private debt, we're going to convert it into US dollars. Preferably Canada first, but preferably let's implement the DRT theory, the debt refusion theory, for the creation of the UE, at the same time, simultaneously, as the Europeans did. So my DRT theory, we're going to take all the public-private debt, my $10,000. I got $10,000 in debt myself as a private citizen to the RBC. So all the debt, public and private, we're going to take it all coast to coast, ocean to ocean, all that money. We're going to call it all that money. We're going to convert it into US dollars. Simultaneously with the US, we're going to add it up together. Canada first, but binational preferably, like the establishment of the National Hockey League and the NBA and the PVHL, the implementation of the DRT, let it be. So all the debt, public and private, we're going to convert it into US dollars. All that money is going to be converted into US dollars. All that money is going to be converted into US dollars. All that money, we're going to add it up, coast to coast, and we're going to add it all up. And that money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. That money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. That money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank, All that money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. All the debt, public and private, all the debt, public and private, all the debt, public and private, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. All the debt, public and private debt, we're going to convert it into US dollars. That money, all the public-private debt, Canada-US joint, is going to be in the trillions. That money is going to be the initial money supply for the new Central Bank of North America. Join Canada-US. If they will, by extension, you could add it. Mexico, Haiti is in North America. Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and Cuba is a paradox. I think they're on the verge of joining BRICS, the alliance, organization alliance. And of course, they still have paradoxically socialist communism and Marxism, Leninism, Castroism, right? And Che Guevaraism, I guess. So, Canada, US first. So all that money going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. We're going to create a new currency called the UE. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The universal exchange unit, 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 the universal exchange unit. So all that money, we're gonna create it. We're gonna create it. The UE, the universal exchange unit, debt refusion theory. The universal exchange unit for the creation of the UE, universal exchange unit, the DRT debt refusion theory. It includes monetary integration theory. So all the debt for the drive will be the initial money supply for this new bank. We're gonna issue a new currency called the UE, universal exchange unit, based on the value of the US dollar. And we're going to set an interest rate level of 10%. It could be 3.33, 7.18, 1.56, 9.3, 6.1, below 10%. Maximum after that. Maximum after it. Maximum after it. Could be 10%. Maximum after it. Maximum after it. Maximum after it. Maximum after it. 3 after the DRT. So with all that money, we're going to be able to mass rebuild the infrastructure of the North American Collective, mass rebuild the infrastructure, mass rebuild the dams, mass rebuild more Hydro-Quebec dams, mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise, mass finance the rebuilding of the North American inner cities, aka the ghettos of North America, rebuild the ghettos, construct those 44 tunnels to defend North American civilization and for the continuity of North American civilizational complex in case of a thermonuclear war. So we're going to finance those tunnels, 44, inspired by the Cheyenne Mountain Complex and the Montreal Underground Village. And also mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise. Finance my own creative workout training program system, the General Integrated Total Body Training System, also known as the Dragon Army Workout, the General War Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the Dragon Army, and of course mass finance that, and mass finance fitness, mass finance tourism across North America to see all the great things we have across Quebec, Canada, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, Canada, US, North America. So many things to see. Banff, Quebec here, so many lakes, such beauty, landscapes in the USA, Temple of Horus, Temple of Seth, Temple of Ra, Temple of Isis, Temple of Osiris, those are peaks, basically, peaks of the Cayenne, those are peaks of the Grand Canyon, peaks of the Grand Canyon, peaks of the Grand Canyon, the Grand Canyon peaks, mountain, like peaks, basically. They're called, that's the name for them. So I do want to see the Grand Canyon. I saw it in a past life, but I want to see it again. I was born in the USA 3 times, both 70, 76, once as a woman, twice as a man. Just read through a glass darkly like George Patton and see, of course. I was born as a man. I served in the United States Army twice. Same army, different wars. And now, paradoxically, my brothers and sisters, you can argue all you will, but because of the current financial public, mostly many people in debt has reached record levels. Both public and private debt has reached record unsustainable levels. Like I said before, just the debt servicing of Canada, of course, just the debt servicing of Canada has, of course, doubled from 2020 to 2021. 20.3 double, that's 40.6 to 46.5. 46.5. So having more than doubled, that's the only solution. The DRT for the creation of the UE, U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. I need to build on the Canadian-US border the forgotten goddess, Goddess, temple. That's my will, because I created my survival. COVID being attacked by surprise, having survived, being surprised attacked, being surprised attacked. Of course, having been surprised attacked, and of course, having been surprised attacked, and having survived being depressed, suicidal, and trauma, and memory loss, and lots of scars, and survived COVID, and being surprised attack, and all that. I credit my survival to the goddess, to the GODDSS, to the goddess, to the goddess, to the goddess, to the goddess, GODDSS. So I credit, and so I gotta get doing, so I gotta get doing with that. So the goddess temple and the North American people's Imperial Coliseum, the North American people's Imperial Coliseum. So we gotta get building with that. That's what we gotta get building with that, and that's what we gotta get doing, So something which we gotta do. Build that, and that's what we gotta get doing, So something which we gotta do, So something which we gotta help build construction workers, implement the DRT. Gonna get in there. Rock and roll trance now. Actually gonna switch it to that rock and roll trance. Ready when I say on the mountain that's the plane. Ready to play, ready to say 1, 2, 3, harmony. On the mountain, goddess kisses, plenty of snow. True, north, strong, free. We got something to see. On the go, that coast to coast. Us a freestyle rock and roll. As I go, plenty double. As I go, plenty trouble. As I go, plenty, that's a shadow. On the light, you see. For the rainbow dragon bee. On the light, we be. For that X and Y, don't you see? For another left and right. For another out of sight. That's the left and that's the right. So you see a harmon lights that you see. That's the forest that you be and that you be. And I gotta say, for another day, for the night up in the light, for the night up in the sky, for the night up in the lights, for your night, North Americans, that's a sight. And another splay nation on the snow, in the forest atop the mountain, dragon slay, dragon prey, dragon rainbow black and white every day, truckers and the butchers, and the nurses and the doctors, gotta send some LOV to those firefighters, gotta get them off you see, gotta get them off you be, gotta get them off you see, for another trip on harmony. And a kiss I say you slay, and a kiss I see you pray, and you praying every day. Thunder lightning, that's a sleigh. Storm up in the say you say, storm up in the say you say, and another kiss and rumble for another. Hey, don't fumble. That's the rumble, that's the thunder. Lightning, that's the North America. And New World Order, that's the dragon. Ain't nobody born a dragon. It took me blood, sweat, and tears. Thousands of push-ups, marching steps by the trains. And some hawks, and some squats. Now I got a big booty who wanna kiss it for world peace. Big rainbow dragon booty. For black and white, generals only. Big rainbow dragon booty. Black and white, but for generals only. Big rainbow dragon booty. Black and white, but for generals only. I'm not thirsty. I got home some kwas. I got home some kwas. So I'm gonna get back home and I'm gonna be drinking kwas tonight. Probably gonna reach late by midnight. Make LOV hug like you never hugged before. Pledge your allegiance, to our family. Pledge your allegiance, to our family. encouraging all to work out, try and exercise. And see this Aspie, I told you I got my obsessive interest, and especially I don't call them obsessive, but Aspie people got special focused interest. And one of mine is rock and roll, parallel to sports and fitness. Dancing being my favorite sport, and dancing being my favorite fitness activity, and of course geopolitics, being an artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical theoretical honest and theorist, and mystic who is being leashed by the mistress. Marry me a whore, marry me a whore, part-time queen of spades. I don't mind being that cuckold. Generals, give me drums, some push-ups on the floor. Don't miss me, I'll be avenged at 11-fold. Woo-hoo. Listen to that again. Hey, marry me a whore. I don't mind me. Marry me a whore. Mistress DSM switch. Marry me a part-time queen of spades. Call me a cuckold. May I be avenged at 11-fold. Listen to that again. Hey, don't mind me, marry me a whore. Part-time queen of spades. I don't mind once a week being a cuckold. I always may I be avenged at 11-fold. Gotta swing it right and piece it for the kisses, for the misfits. What piece to believe it, what piece to believe it. Shake it, you know where we are in Quebec. So that you see it. And the lights, and the side that's the red, and the side I don't play, the dice I don't throw, cause I don't gamble. Let me see you shake that head, shake that hips, panties off. I kiss my homos. I play that rainbow. You know I make out booty for generals only, rainbow. Kiss it on, you know, on the freeze, on the guitar. They got the construction workers, I still toast the farmers, the butchers, the bakers, the cooks. They got a switch on her. Give some charity, millionaire, don't be so selfish. Ain't all about Wall Street, ain't all about money, you see. On the mountain, that's the mistress. That'll get a goddess kisses. That's the mountain, that's the kisses. On the mountain, that's the kisses. Think that's radio, television, that antenna. Parallel life, you know I said one another radio waves. Millimeter smartphones, that's the connector, that's the text. How does it work? Give me a thought brain. Thought brain like describe a god. Goddess, when I said, pray with a finger best. I'm gonna need a that bit, that hydrator. Gotta need a little bit of that hydrator. For the singer, for the slater, for the singer, for the later, for the later, for the trouble, for the later, for the double, for that mountain of that horse. For that mountain of that horse, and that mountain of that horse, mountain of that horse. On the mountain, that Mount Royal. We gotta keep it for the foil, keep it for the broil, keep it for the stars, you know we see. On the stars we know we be, on the stars you know we see. On the stars you know we rock and roll on the rainbow, you see on the let's go. Rock and roll you see on the rainbow, you see on the let's go. For you see on the dope, for you see on the dope, and on the rope. Oh, we gotta get it for the slopes, we gotta get it for the dope, dope on the ropes. At the top of Mount Royal, that's another one. For the LOV the lovers, for the LOV the lovers, for the LOV the lovers. Pledge your allegiance to our family. Dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom, Adrian a dragon you see. Rock and roll, Adrian a dragon you see. Adrian a dragon you see. On the road, Adrian a dragon you be. Adrian a dragon you see. On the kisses on the stars, you know you D. On the kisses on the stars, you know you see. On the kisses on the lights, you know you D. On the kisses on the stars, you know you be. On the lights, you know you see. And another rainbow dragon, rock and roll you be. Et voilà. On est sur la montagne québécois et québécoise. Je dois commencer avec la gratitude. J'ai payé mon loyer, j'ai payé mon facture d'électricité, puis je vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique. L'entraînement physique a été ça dans ma médecine et thérapie de choix. Et bien sûr, j'adore venir ici, ma deuxième maison. Le Mont-Royal ou Belvédère. La forêt du Condironac, Belvédère que je viens de passer. Et bien sûr, je vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique. L'entraînement physique a été selon ma médecine et thérapie de choix. Puis je vous encourage bien sûr à faire cet entraînement physique. Puis en venir ici à la montagne, bien sûr, votre Aspi, Asperger's, artiste, athlète, philosophe, dragon arc-en-ciel qui vous envoie de l'amour puis vous dit bien sûr essentiellement puis avant tout qu'il faut qu'on évite de toute façon, de toute notre puissance pour avoir l'imposition des 25% de tarifs. Puis vous savez que depuis 2018, ça va faire bientôt 7 ans que je fais appel à Donald Trump pour me combattre dans un combat de boxe sur la frontière canadienne-états-unienne, sur la frontière canado-états-unienne. C'est parce que, bien sûr, j'ai fait, bien sûr, appel dès que il a imposé pour la première fois des tarifs de 10% sur l'aluminium puis l'acier en 2018. En 2018, comme vous en faites un petit souvenir, Donald Trump, il a fait imposer, bien sûr, 10% de tarifs sur, bien sûr, l'aluminium puis l'acier, bien sûr, sur l'aluminium puis l'acier, bien sûr, qui a fait l'imposition en 2018. Et depuis ce temps-là, bien sûr, c'est des choses, bien sûr, qu'il faut qu'on fasse attention parce que là, si c'est le 1er février, si le 1er février, c'est samedi, s'il décide d'imposer 25%, c'est un quart, c'est 25 $ sur chaque 100 $, c'est 25 cents pour chaque dollar. Fait que ça veut dire que c'est énorme. Ça veut dire que c'est énorme, tu sais. Et bien sûr, ça peut être grave pour l'économie parce qu'on ne veut pas, on dépend 3/4, 75% de nos exportations s'en va aux États-Unis. Puis c'est bien sûr, il y a une disparité à cause de la population, bien sûr. Puis même moi, je viens d'acheter hier parce qu'il était en spécial du jus d'orange. Puis je faisais une méditation, c'était réduit de 44,9% à peu près. Pas la moitié quasiment, mais quasiment la moitié. Une grosse réduction de 3,50 $ un jus d'orange. Puis j'ai dit, je vais faire un événement en faisant du rock'n'roll, en buvant du jus d'orange, parce que je boycotte pas avant, j'attends le 1er février, puis j'espère qu'il y aura une solution. Je sais pas, c'est l'invitation qu'il nous invite pour rejoindre un 51e État. Vous savez que moi, j'aurais voté Kamala Harris, Biden, puis même que je suis toujours québécois, canadien, nord-américain, mais on est nord-américain aussi. Il faut qu'on s'unisse le plus tôt possible. Puis mon rêve est fondamentalement un appel à un partenariat public-privé. Quand je dis bien sûr le rêve de votre dragon arc-en-ciel, le royaume de la déesse et du dragon qui danse, c'est fondamentalement un appel à un partenariat public-privé. C'est fondamentalement ça. Un appel à un partenariat public-privé pour la création d'une monnaie, unité d'échange commune. Puis dans le fond, on n'a pas besoin de la frontière. On peut s'intégrer en tant que famille. Moi, je vous considère ma famille, Québécois et Québécoises, les Canadiens, puis même les Américains. Je ne pas jusqu'à cause que je suis mystique. Vous savez que moi, je suis un croyant dans la réincarnation. Puis après 1776, je suis né aux États-Unis 3 fois, une fois femme, 2 fois homme, puis j'ai même servi dans l'armée des États-Unis 2 fois. La même armée des États-Unis. 2 guerres différentes, 156 ans à part. 156 ans à part. Puis j'étais né ici québécois une fois, j'ai rencontré Louis XVI. Bon, je vais pas rencontrer ma spiritualité qui j'y crois à des réincarnations, mais on est quand même des Nord-Américains. La frontière, on peut faire l'intégration pour la sécurité, pour le service, pour la défense, pour l'économie politique de même manière à la nord-américaine, là, de manière comme les Européens ont fait avec un passeport commun. Parce qu'on n'a pas vraiment besoin de la frontière Canada-États-Unis. Moi, je crois que c'est le temps qu'on finit avec la frontière, qu'on s'intègre les services de sécurité, armée, police, économie, puis l'intégration quand même. Ça. Puis en plus, je suis un centriste, universel révolutionnaire. Mon centrisme, bien sûr, ça va avec la trinité de théorie. Puis des projets de Trump, je soutiens pas beaucoup de la politique, les principes de la politique, puis les ordres exécutifs. J'aurais aimé ça avoir des ordres exécutifs pour, bien sûr, bien sûr, mettre peut-être en valeur, augmenter le salaire aussi, la reconstruction de l'infrastructure de l'Amérique du Nord, puis là, tu sais, toutes ces choses-là, le financement, de la santé aussi, tu sais. Ça prend un partenariat public-privé. Moi, fondamentalement, mon rêve, quand je dis prêter allégeance les jours des familles, c'est fondamentalement un appel à un partenariat public-privé à travers qu'est-ce que j'appelle en tant que philosophe, le collectif nord-américain. Parce que je suis fondamentalement nord-américain, même si je vis avec une condition de neurodivergence nommée l'Asperger's, l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, fait que je suis moins capable, dans certaines circonstances sociales, certaines choses, je suis moins capable, je suis pas bon, médiocre, comme ci, comme ça, mais dans le géopolitique, même que j'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant en 2019. J'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant en 2019. En 2019. J'ai fait une prédiction, puis c'est ça, bien sûr, j'ai fait de la prédiction, bien sûr, en 2019. J'avais prévu la situation actuelle. Mais j'ai prévu une troisième guerre mondiale, j'ai prévu une conflagration internationale. Si je puisse vous faire un petit résumé, là, parce que c'est quand même bien des détails et des analyses profondes que j'en fais au quotidien, parce que à cause de l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, l'Asperger's, je vis avec cette condition d'Asperger's qui est bien sûr, qui fait que j'ai des intérêts spéciaux. Puis quand je suis dedans, j'y travaille dedans, je suis super concentré, super intense, super dedans. Fait que ce matin, pour vous dire, j'ai fait 5 heures d'analyse de géopolitique, les événements majeurs de l'Amérique du Nord, du Québec, du Canada, en regardant des différentes chaînes de radio, des différentes chaînes de télé, de l'Amérique du Nord, de la gauche, de la droite au centre, bien sûr de la gauche, de la droite, du centre, de la gauche, de la droite, puis du centre, bien sûr, puis j'ai même fait, bien sûr, à travers Outre-mer, tu sais, l'Outre-mer en faisant ces analyses. Fait que c'est ça, la géopolitique pour moi-même. C'est ça que je fais, bien sûr, l'analyse en géopolitique. Eh bien, l'entraînement physique. Donc c'est ça, avec l'autisme hautement fonctionnel. L'Asperger, ça fait que j'ai ces intérêts obsessifs. Mais c'est pas vraiment des intérêts obsessifs, c'est des intérêts spéciaux. Et ces intérêts spéciaux, bien sûr, c'est des intérêts qui font bien sûr que je sois vraiment super focusé dedans. Puis c'est la géopolitique comme ce matin. Ça arrive quasiment tous les jours, parce que la géopolitique, c'est 24/24. Mais j'ai passé comme 5 heures du matin, j'ai pris 2 cafés, puis à un moment donné, je me réveille, je dis wow, c'est parce que je checkais pour ma nourriture, pour mettre la chaufferette, là, pour chauffer la chaufferette. Puis je viens de remarquer, je dis wow, ça a fait que j'ai passé 5 heures juste en faisant de l'analyse. J'ai perdu le temps. J'ai complètement perdu. Alors, j'étais tellement dedans, faisant des analyses, la méditation, l'interprétation, l'analyse des paroles, des diplomates, des politiciens à travers le monde, puis plus local que... Là, je suis nord-américain, québécois-canadien, québécois nord-américain, canadien, québécois, canadien, nord-américain. On est des nord-américains. Bon, ils nous invitent pour qu'on devienne un 50e État. Je ne sais pas, le Canada, on est 40 quelques millions, c'est juste 50e État. Puis je ne soutiens pas Trump, mais en tant qu'une union de l'Amérique du Nord, on pourrait se renforcer. Puis en tant que la géopolitique, mais il faut qu'on soit conscient que notre intérêt principal, là, primordial, fondamental en tant que Québécois canadien, c'est d'avoir les meilleures relations possibles, économiques, sociales, culturelles, sportives, de sécurité, d'économie, finance, économie, culturelle, sportive, de sécurité, puis de défense commune avec les États-Unis, parce que notre réalité géographique, on a 2 océans de côte à côte, l'Atlantique puis le Pacifique. Fait que c'est cette réalité, puis que ce destin commun, parce que, je dis en tant que philosophe, on est un collectif de civilisation émergent. Donc, on est un collectif de civilisation émergent, Donc, ici, bien sûr, quand je suis dans le public. Fait que moi-même, j'ai des responsabilités additionnelles que je n'ai pas chez nous. Si j'aurais resté dans ma grotte de dragon arc-en-ciel, je n'aurais pas eu les mêmes responsabilités, les mêmes obligations qu'ici. Fait qu'il faut que je fasse pour ma liberté, ma sécurité, puis mon travail, en tant que YouTuber, bien, il faut que je fasse. Salutations, hey, c'est comme ça qu'ils font pour le ski. Oui. Merci, au nom des skieurs, ben, merci. Le travail public, parce qu'on a des pistes de ski, fait que ça a été construit par des cerveaux puis des muscles, la machine, puis maintenant, ben, je me pose que des questions, parce que nous, les Aspergers, les autistes mouvement fonctionnels, des fois, on a des questions sur bien des détails, puis on pose des questions quand même, on peut voir certains détails vis-à-vis que certains jeunes ne se concernent pas par ces choses-là. C'est juste, je fais partie de cette minorité de neurodivergents. C'est pas une maladie mentale. C'est une condition que notre cerveau est différent. Fait qu'on a de la misère dans certains contextes sociaux. On comprend pas. On a bien de la misère. Moi-même, dans certaines choses, je suis médiocre, comme ça. Pas bon, même que j'ai perdu beaucoup d'emplois vis-à-vis de mon autisme. Asperger, j'ai quand même souffert, beaucoup, mal compris, mais je suis bon dans rock'n'roll, c'est mon intérêt, la trinité d'intérêts spéciaux, aussi connu comme intérêt obsessif pour les Aspergers, c'est ma trinité, c'est la géopolitique 24/24, l'entraînement physique, le sport, la danse c'est mon sport préféré, la danse c'est l'entraînement physique que je préfère, le rock'n'roll. Puis des fois, je pars dans des trans de rock'n'roll, mais avant que je passe une transe de rock'n'roll, je vais discuter de la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Puis encore une fois, mais je suis pour une union avec les États-Unis, mais puis même que je soutiens pas Trump, mais le roi est absent, méchant, mais c'est le temps au 21e siècle pour la République. C'est le temps pour la République, puis l'Union de l'Amérique du Nord. Parallèlement à l'Union européenne, la création d'un passeport commun. Puis il faut qu'on fasse un census. Tous les citoyens qui sont ici en Amérique du Nord, qui sont ici depuis 2017. Un census. Il faut qu'on fasse un census pour voir tous ceux qui sont ici depuis 2017. Puis, un examen, peut-être un questionnaire pour faire une balance ou faire un discernement sur la capacité linguistique, s'ils sont bilingues, des choses comme ça. Et pour la création d'une monnaie d'échange commune. Fait que la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, c'est un paradoxe, mais c'est la seule solution, bien sûr. C'est la seule solution qu'on peut se sortir de la crise financière qu'on est rendu des finances publiques, puis beaucoup de gens publics, privés aussi en tant que citoyen moi-même, présentement, je vis juste un stress financier. Donc, la TRD, c'est un paradoxe parce que ça vient bien sûr que j'ai comme intérêt spécial, intérêt obsessif qu'on appelle, mais j'utilise pas trop obsessif parce que c'est pas vrai, quand on dit intérêt obsessif pour les Aspergers, ça a plutôt une connotation négative, mais pour nous c'est pas vraiment négatif, c'est juste que on peut passer ben du temps au quotidien sur ses intérêts comme une routine, un rituel, puis ça peut paraître obsessif, mais il faut l'encouragement puis le soutien dans ces choses-là. Parce que moi-même en géopolitique, comme je vous ai dit, j'ai la preuve, j'ai prévu la situation actuelle en 2019. En 2019, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé maintenant? J'ai prévu cette situation en 2019. J'ai prévu une conflagration internationale et une troisième guerre mondiale en 2019. Fait que depuis ce temps-là, je suis comme dans un mode de troisième guerre mondiale, si on veut. Si on veut, je suis comme dans un état de troisième guerre mondiale. Mes initiatives, protocoles sont seulement pour la défense. C'est ça qu'il faut comprendre. La défense, la sécurité, le service, puis la renaissance du Québec, du collectif nord-américain. Seulement pour la défense, la sécurité, puis le service. Seulement la défense, la sécurité, puis le service. Puis la renaissance, si on veut. Seulement pour ces trois principes-là. Puis de ces principes, c'est là que je pars de mon rêve. Puis quand je dis c'est un appel fondamentalement à un partenariat public-privé, un partenariat public-privé, un PPP. Fondamentalement, c'est un appel à un partenariat public-privé. Puis il fait fret, mais il fait pas si fret parce que moi, ça me dérange pas l'hiver. Mais il y a bien moins de monde que d'habitude sur la montagne. Puis c'est ma deuxième maison. Ici, comme je disais tantôt en anglais, c'est comme chez nous, tu sais, c'est comme ma deuxième maison. Bon, la TRD, théorie de la réfusion de la dette, pourquoi je dis que c'est la seule unique solution? Car on paye sur la dette publique, écoutez ça, 46,5 milliards qu'on a payé l'année passée en 2024. 101 milliards, 109 zéro, fait que c'est 46 000 millions. Car en 2020-2021, on payait 20,3 milliards. Fait que faites le calcul mathématique, c'est plus que double. Hein? Juste l'intérêt qu'on paye sur la dette publique canadienne, c'est un chiffre énorme, imaginez-vous. Là. Merci Hydro-Québec pour les lumières. Il faut qu'on bâtisse, construire d'autres centrales. Bon, la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, on va faire. Il faut faire l'implémentation parce que c'est urgent. Puis, vous pouvez vous assigner tant que vous voudrez, mais c'est la seule solution. Là. La théorie de la refusion de la dette, la TRD de votre dragon arc-en-ciel ou quelque chose de très similaire, quelque chose de très semblable. La TRD.